So here we go, part 2. When I last talked to you guys about the fire lance that I was making, I was torn on which faction I was going to go with. And that also, I had to figure out which book I was going to go with. Well, there we go. We're going to do Mercenaries. Mercenaries are going to give me the most flexibility and the most bang for my buck. I can start painting up any miniatures I want and throw them in the mercenary group. I found that while there's a lot of options, sorry, got a cold. There's a lot of options with all the different factions that are mercenaries. There's only a couple that really appeal to me. You know, the Crescent Hawks, the Grey Death, the Lone Wolves, and the Wolf Dragoons. And I'm probably just going to go... Also, Wily's Coyotes. Those are pretty cool, actually. They got a fun lore to them. But I think I'm going to settle on Lone Wolves. And the reason I'm going to settle on Lone Wolves isn't because their icon is great. It's because it just makes more sense to me with the way I'm designing the force. And so the Lone Wolves, you know, they have some special rules. Let me bring that up. Special rules for the Lone Wolves. Whenever 2 or more Lone Wolves or of the same type combine fire on a target the same turn that is crippled or destroyed, roll 2d6. On a 2 or 12, the mech warriors involved will fight another one for this over salvage rights. To the exclusion of the battle raging around them, the 2 units suffer the effect of blood stalker with each other as a chosen enemy until one is destroyed or the other or is forced to withdraw. That to me is hilarious. I just think that's great. It adds a little bit of flavor, and it's a bunch of mercs just fighting over whatever they can. I like it. And I think also will help balance out how cheesy I've heard this list is. This lance is, at least. So, we still haven't made our Scout Lance, and we still haven't made a Battle Lance yet, or a Pursuit Lance, or anything else to fill out this company. So I think there's still some room for putting a lot of shenanigans out there, but let's finish up the Fire Lance first before we start thinking ahead. Although I do have some ideas. And I also wanted to give you guys a quick shot of where I am in terms of progress with painting the miniatures. These are the 3 Archer 1As. As you can see that I've got their primary colors all blocked off. They're going to have kind of a Pittsburgh Steelers style paint scheme to them, being from Pittsburgh, and the Pittsburgh teams and that color scheme is just kind of ingrained in my DNA. If I were to ever show off my Firestorm Armada fleet, it's totally Steelers. It's also the only reason I went with Red Scorpions at one point in time in 40Ks, because it matched the color scheme that I liked. But they're coming along nicely. Base color's down. And then here we got the first finished model, the Longbow. He's got all sorts of weathering done. He's got decals on him. No unit markings. Doesn't really need him. He just has his paint scheme. And that's going to be the only thing that really unifies these guys together. Again, they're Lone Wolves. They're only coming together for a job, so they all paint their mechs the same color. Afterward, they all disperse. But he was a joy to paint, and I really, really, really like it. Lots of detail, lots of little things like rust and battle damage and modulated paneling. A lot of subtle stuff, but it pays off. He looks fabulous. Or she looks fabulous. Either way, the mech looks good. So the next video in the series is going to be me finishing the archers, and then looking at the next lance that will possibly enhance these guys. So hopefully next time all 4 mechs will be finished, and I'll have a game in with them. And hell, if you guys have a great idea on what mechs would pair really, really well with this lance, or a lance suggestion overall, hit me up. I'm still kind of torn on what I'm going to do. I know it's going to be a company of mechs to start with, but I haven't quite figured out what the other lances are going to be. And if you want to see paint tips or how I actually painted these guys, I could do a video of that if you'd like to see how I weather or anything like that. Just let me know.